Good morning, Ken Caryl. This is Susan, this is Ed, and this is Anthony. This is part of our Meet Your Neighbors in Ken Caryl, and pretty fascinating. These guys have taken on a very interesting aspect of a new hobby for Ed, and Anthony, who is his son-in-law, has taught him about bees. So I'm going to turn it over to these guys and tell us a little bit about where'd this idea come from?
About 2 years ago, Anthony approached me, and he just got married to my daughter Bryn, and he said, how about getting a hobby in your life? And I've had no hobbies in my entire life, so I thought, we'll give this a try. So Anthony and I approached the Ken Caryl Master Association and the Rangers. We talked to them about putting some hives out here. They were amazing. And as you can see behind us here, we were able to put in a little enclosure. We've got 2 hives now. We can grow it to 4, and it's just been a really neat adventure.
Great. Anthony, so what is the process like of starting a hive, maintaining a hive?
Yes.
What happens out here?
Yes, good question. Well, to start a hive, you can go and purchase a hive from a number of beekeeping shops in the area. The closest one is over off of Wadsworth and Coal Mine, called To Be or Not to Be.
Right.
So we got all of our bees from them. And then basically, once you have the equipment, really all you're doing is helping manage the bees. Currently, in the climate of our world, bees have been dying. And so we're really there to check for 2 things. One, we first want to make sure that our queen is laying eggs and that they are populating, right? That we're getting brood and the hive is expanding. And 2, we need to check for varroa mites and check for any other sicknesses or diseases.
Okay.
Treating for varroa mites is probably the most important thing that we do to make sure that our hives don't die and that our hives don't spread varroa mites to other hives, whether they're wild or other beekeepers. So if you have hives, check for mites and treat for them.
At the beginning of May, and the 2 of the hives, they both survived during the course of the winter, and then starting in March and April, they started coming out because the weather got nice.
Okay.
They're going out getting pollen. So we pop the tops off, we put some pollen patties in, which gives them food, kind of generates them to start really going through their process and start laying eggs. So right now, we're going to go down now, and we're going to do a hive check. We're going to pop the tops. Susan's going to be touching all the different elements in there, looking for the queen, and then we're going to look for just make sure it's healthy.
Okay, and then when is harvest for bees?
Harvest is usually near the beginning of fall, sometime in August.
Okay.
Right, the bees are going to store up all of the pollen and they're going to make all of the honey throughout the summer and the warmer months. So when it gets cold and they kind of huddle up, they've got food.
Sadly, nationally, about 50% of hives die each year, which is not wonderful, but that's what happens. So we're about on average about what the national average is. So.
And where are we in the open space? We are at Dutch Creek.
Creek, and where the Hogback Trail meet here, kind of right before where the Hogback opens to go out to C470. So if you want to do any hiking, biking, and you want to come visit, just come by and see them.
Okay. And there's a marker right here at this identifying it?
Yep.
It is fenced off to keep the bears out?
Yeah, that's an electrified fence, so don't touch the fence.
Yes.
God forbid one of us were to get stung, just stay calm, because when one of them bites, they die, so that they lose their life, and they give off a pheromone that smells like banana, and it tells the other ones to just be careful, and like maybe we need to start attacking. So if anything happens, just absorb it, and we'll be good. We'll be good. Don't start swatting.
Yeah, this is our smoker. Basically, we're going to smoke the hives when we open them up. It keeps the bees calm, and it keeps them kind of from getting too agitated and aggressive.
We're at hive number 1, which is our a hive that has the Russian bees.
Here, little cracks.
There you go. That's it. Beautiful. Yep.
What is that?
Those are pollen patties. That's what we put about a month ago, and that gives them energy. That's protein.
Definitely a sound that usually makes you want to run.
Yeah, I would say when we bring people out, it is a little overwhelming, because when you open the top, you are allowing 5,000 or more bees to say, "Hey, what are you doing here?"
Good
and
morning,
like,
Ken Caryl.
Yeah. But the neat thing is their function in life is to support the queen, is to help her lay new eggs, and then kind of care for them. They are about building the wax and building the comb so that they can put, either new babies in their brood, they call it, or honey. And they just want to get busy. That's all they do. They fly all day long. They're out. There's a water source right there, Dutch Creek. So we kind of put it right there within 50 yards, which is just, the perfect amount. Anthony.
Wow.
So you go ahead and show her that. But that's a nice hive right there. That's very close to where she could be on.
So this is an okay brood pattern. Usually you want to see it over 3/4 of it. You want to have a nice ring of brood here. They may have just hatched, but yeah, all these little capped areas where it's yellow, that's where a new bee will come out of.
Oh my goodness.
And so I'm going to look for eggs in surrounding areas. Lots of larvae on this one. Woo!
Find her.
How do you know?
She's different body shape, different size. She's a longer abdomen.
Oh my goodness.
Now our Russian queen, this is our Russian hive. She's a little smaller. She's a very small queen. She's a little harder to find.
Bees can do everything they need for existence. They are just so amazing that they will create those queen cups just in case their queen, the current queen, gets sick, dies, and they realize, uh-oh, she's gone. They'll know, and then they will put an egg in that queen cup. They'll put a particular element they make called a
Royal jelly.
Royal jelly, and that royal jelly will transform an egg that would have been just a worker bee into a queen
Really?
bee. Because that royal jelly just kind of enhances them and kind of creates the things that need to happen. So they can say, hey, we need a new queen, let's produce one on our own for survival. Because without the queen, no babies, the hive just dies. It just runs out. So the queen has to be there.
Yeah, she doesn't.
Have you named her?
No.
We haven't, but if you want to, I mean, we're
open.
Queen, I would go Queen Susan. I have no problem with that. Just in honor of you today.
Just for today, maybe.
I'm so sorry. I love you, but we got to do this. And you do this because this is how, and it's quick. They're gone. And this is how you check to make sure that the bees stay healthy. We have to do this or the hive, we can lose the entire hive. So we're going to let that alcohol do its job of killing the varroa mites, separating them from the bee's body if there's any there, and then with all the holes in the strainer, we'll be able to count on the bottom how many varroa mites are down there.
Yeah, there she is.
Oh, she's cute.
Okay, so she's right in the top middle of the frame.
There. Okay.
So you're right in the middle there? Now she's cool, but she's not that impressive compared to our other queen. Our other queen is a monster.
So she's busy too. I thought the queen just kind of sat on the throne all day.
No, she is the busiest of all of the workers.
Really?
All she does is lay eggs. She can lay hundreds of eggs a day.
Really?
Yes. Right in the center of each one of these.
I can see a little white.
There's a little tiny white dot. It looks like a little piece of rice. That's an egg.
So that will be a bee.
Feed the larva, then they cap it with wax, and then the rest of the body develops, the wings, all the exoskeleton, and then it eats its way out.
Huh.
Got it? Yeah, I got it. Thank you. So much activity.
Look at me being brave. Getting used to this noise. This chatter.
Anthony, I think we're fine, buddy. There's some.
What kind of bees is this one?
These are Italian-Russian hybrids. It used to be a fully Italian hive, but we introduced 2 Russian hives, and we lost a queen, and they raised a new one. Huh? And so when she did her virgin flight, there's Italian and, Italian and Russian bees. We can't say with 100% certainty that she's 50-50. There's other bees in the area that she could have gotten some genetics from.
Covered almost solidly. So this brood pattern that he'll talk a little bit about is literally perfect, and she could be on you. You see that brown cap? How that is solid?
Yes.
That's a really cool pattern. Really cool pattern.
You kind of have this big circular ring of brood, and then the outside they will fill in with honey. So that looks really good. Now let's see if we have eggs though. Yeah, there's eggs on here. This queen is a monster. Wait till you see, she's significantly larger than that other queen. She's huge.
She's a tough lady.
Kind of working your way
Italian.
from the middle here.
Okay.
You've got all the cap brood, and then as you work out, you have larvae all the way around the edge, and then you have eggs even farther in the corners. It's the ideal situation. It's very hard to get a hive that does that. This is very good.
That is, and the next one, oh my gosh, it's the same way. So
God, we got eggs everywhere. Here's the queen right here.
Pride?
You can see her right there.
Oh, okay.
You see how she's got that long, slender abdomen? Yep. The male drones, which you identified here, this big fat thing, that's a male. All he does is eat and mate. It's his only role. And he's got those big bug eyes.
Is there only one drone?
No, there's tons of them. Be with her. We
These
want
are
her
larvae.
genetics.
These are all, I mean, if you took those out right now and
Eat
you
it.
want to taste
I
one
want
of
you to eat
those,
it. It tastes like a nut.
It tastes like a...
like an almond. So the mating works. The queen goes on her virgin flight. She flies like 60 to 100 feet in the air. And there's a clump of drones that are flying up there. She flies right through them and gets inseminated by any number of them.
Oh.
It's pretty wild.
How often does the queen leave the hive?
Never. Well, only to do her virgin flight.
Oh, okay.
It's a new queen. She's a virgin. Once she's inseminated, this queen probably can't even fly.
Oh.
So when it swarms, they leave with the new queen, who's new. She flies. They find a spot. She goes on her flight, and they make home.
Oh.
Yep. So.
Half a cup. So sorry. Sorry. Nothing personal, but it's for the greater good.
Thanks, guys, for inviting us and allowing us to become part of your hobby and to become junior beekeepers for a morning.
With pleasure. We're glad you can come to this little corner of Ken Caryl Valley and see what's happening out here. Please come visit.
And thank you, Ken Caryl, for letting these guys have fun out here.
Absolutely.
At the bees.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.